Hey everybody, I have a special guest with us. My friend Alan Havey's here. You might know Alan Havey from Mad Men. He played Lou Avery on Mad Men. He was a Carl Allard on Showtime's Billions. And right now, he's appearing on Peacock's The Paper as CEO Marv Putnam. Please welcome to the show, Alan Havey. Hey, Alan, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me on. Only the top credits. I like that.
That's right. We don't mess around.
I was on the Merv Griffin show back in the 80s.
I don't know what that is. But here's it. I just want to let you know. Here it is. Good news. Now on NBC, The Paper. And there he is, Alan. We're going to get to him. We're going to get to that in a second. But first, I wanted to have him on because guess what? Turns out that I know I was told that we are not supposed to question authority when it comes to the LA fires. But it turns out, Alan, now I know, Alan, you live in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
We were supposed to, you're always supposed to question because guess what? It turns out that Karen Bass, the mayor, now I know people who told me that you should not question, they couldn't, they did everything they could. And what do you know about the fires?
By the way, when did that happen, not to question authority?
That started during COVID.
Okay, because when I was growing up,
in
the 60s, you always question
authority. You had to stop doing that during COVID, and it carried over to the LA fires. So let's watch. Right now, this is from just a couple days ago. ABC Local says this.
Tonight we're learning billionaire real estate developer Rick Caruso is reconsidering his decision not to run for LA mayor or elected office this year. It comes after new allegations that Mayor Karen Bass may have ordered a Palisades fire after action report to be watered down. Eyewitness News reporter Liz Nagy joining.
She called for the report on the fire to be watered down, Alan.
The irony of that.
Now she gets it. Now she gets the water.
I had a friend, when she left for the fires, she went over to Africa.
Ghana or something like that.
Yeah, she went to Ghana, and someone said, well, the president told her to go.
Yeah.
I go, the president doesn't know who she is. Doesn't remember her name. Hey, Karen Bass is going back to L.A. Who?
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He doesn't know the name of his wife. Here we go. Ready?
It's live from Pacific Palisades. Liz.
Mark, tonight, Rick Caruso tells Eyewitness News he has heard from a lot of people today urging him to reconsider running for mayor. All of this comes after a report from the LA Times that alleges Mayor Karen Bass changed and withheld details in the Palisades report. Tonight, Mayor Bass is defiant. She says she and her staff made no changes.
Driving into a still dark and desolate Pacific Palisades, roadside signs read, "They let us burn," alongside names including LA Mayor Karen Bass. The LA Times cites two sources that say Mayor Bass ordered edits to the fire department's highly anticipated after-action report. Bass, the Times sources say, told then interim LAFD Chief Ronnie Villanueva she was worried the findings would leave the city legally vulnerable for failures on lack of staffing and pre-deploying fire crews. Sources tell the Times Bass asked for those admissions to be, quote, removed or softened. Initially, this after-action report said the pre-deployment decisions did not align with policy. The Times reports that was then changed to say that the LAFD's pre-deployment plan was above and beyond. Last month, one day before the year anniversary of the Palisades fire, Eyewitness News political reporter Josh Haskell asked Mayor Bass.
You hear reports that the January 7th after-action report was tampered with, watered down.
Very troubling, right. That's very troubling. But again, there are independent reports becoming available.
Now sources tell the LA Times it was Bass who held on to the initial draft until the changes were made. Instead of speaking on camera or answering questions at a jazz celebration this afternoon, Bass's office fired off a statement admonishing the Times and saying in part, the mayor has been clear about her concerns regarding pre-deployment and the LAFD's response to the fire. There is absolutely no reason why she would request those details be altered or erased when she herself has been critical of the response to the fire. Now, with Mayor Karen Bass on the defensive and a primary election looming, real estate mogul Rick Caruso tells Eyewitness News he's reconsidering his decision on whether to run for political office, calling Bass's alleged edits a complete loss of public trust and an intentional act of covering up the actions that led to people dying.
No,
now Caruso only.
I don't care about Caruso, but I was told, Alan, that you're not supposed to question the authority. So it turns out the LA Times caught her lying and watering down the report. And what exactly, but if you go to the mainstream news, Alan, they're going to tell you that NPR will say that the false narratives come from social media, not from the government. Like I always tell people, you get the biggest liars in the world are the government. Second is the corporate media. And a distant third are randos on social media. But that's all they want us to focus on. I just wanted to throw that in there. But here, I just wanted to show. So to Times investigation, LA Fire Department report on the Palisades fire was watered down. The records show. No kidding.
But wait, who is the LA Times?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, they're just journalists. Yeah. They're just the official paper of LA.
Yeah, right. That's right. So here they are. And here's the most recent article. It says Bass directed watering down of the Palisades fire after action report. They can't stop saying watered down. Read the room, fellas. Read the room. So here I got a couple of paragraphs I want to read
hot
to you.
News. This is smoldering.
This is This is right. If this was a real fire, they would they wouldn't put it out. Sources told the Times that Mayor Karen Bass was concerned about legal liabilities for failures in combating the Palisades fire. She wanted key findings about the LA Fire Department's shortcomings removed or softened. The most significant change to her report involved the failure to not fully staff up and pre-deploy all available engines ahead of dangerously high winds. So they knew the winds were coming, and they knew the fires were. They knew it's fire season, and they didn't do what they didn't fully staff up. So okay, we're going to keep going. The Times obtained 7 drafts of the LA Fire Department's after-action report on the Palisades fire. Deletions and revisions in the drafts amounted to an effort to downplay the failures of city and LA Fire Department leadership. The most significant edits involved the LA Fire Department's deployment decisions before the fire, as the wind warnings became increasingly dire. In one instance, LA Fire Department officials removed language saying that the decision not to fully staff up and pre-deploy all available crews and engines ahead of the extreme wind forecast, quote unquote, did not align with the department's policy and procedures during the red flags. She got rid of that. She didn't want you to know that they didn't follow their procedures. Instead, the final report said that the number of engine companies rolled out ahead of the fire went above and beyond the standard of the LA Fire Department pre-deploy. So the exact opposite. So the real report said, hey, you didn't follow procedures. You didn't staff up. You didn't have the trucks out there like they're supposed to be. And then Karen Bass has it switched to they went above and beyond. It's kind of amazing.
Called rewriting. A lot of writers rewrite. The first draft doesn't work, then you rewrite it, then you rewrite it. Now it lines up.
That's right.
Now it makes sense.
The hardest part of writing, rewriting.
Yes. You're not a writer, you're a rewriter.
You're a rewriter. Another deleted passage in the report said that some crews waited more than an hour for an assignment the day of the fire. The day of the fire. A section on failures was renamed primary challenges. It was called in the original draft, it was called a failure. They renamed it to primary challenges, and an item saying that the crews and leaders had violated national guidelines on how to avoid firefighter deaths and injuries was also scratched. Wow. Other changes in the report, which was overseen by then interim fire chief Ronnie Villanueva, seemed similarly intended to soften its impact and burnish the fire department's image. 2 drafts contained notes written in the margins, including a suggestion to replace the image on the cover page, which showed palm trees on fire against an orange sky. So the original report had a picture with palm trees on fire. They then got rid of that, Karen Bass, and wanted a positive picture, such as firefighters on the front line, the note said. The final report cover displays the LA Fire Department seal. So, okay, it keeps going. Some drafts described an on-duty LA Fire Department captain calling Fire Station 23 in the Palisades on January 7th to report that the Lockman fire started up again. Because that's how this fire started. There was a fire that they went out, they put it out, and then they against the firemen said, hey, we need to make sure this is out. And they said, no, let's just go. So they left before that fire was all the way out. And then there was a call, Fire Station 23, that the Lockman fire had actually started up again, indicating the captain's belief that the Palisades fire was caused by a reignition of an earlier blaze that they were derelict in putting out. The reference was deleted, then restored in the public version, which otherwise contains only a brief mention of the previous fire. So they watered it down to a brief mention of the previous fire, not blaming the fire on the unput out fire that they didn't take care of properly. Some have said that the after actions report failure to thoroughly examine the Lockman fire reignition was designed to what? To shield the fire department leadership and Mayor Karen Bass administration from criticism and accountability. Now, I've been told by everybody in the world that they did everything they could. I've had my neighbors tell me to my face, Jimmy, there's nothing they could do.
Yeah.
And now we know. Of course, there was a lot of things they could have done.
There was a big article in the Times when this, after the fire, maybe 5 to 6 days or a week, that, this fire, and these were firefighter experts from around the country. No, this was a perfect storm of things that happened. There's no way.
There's no way they could have done anything.
Could have put it out. And I'm reading this going, well, okay, these are fire experts. They got to know. But I didn't hear about the Lockman fire.
What?
And didn't one of the firemen pick up a rock? And it was kind of hot.
Hot.
Yeah,
and the fire could be underground.
Yeah. What do you
and
do?
The fireman,
can't you just pour water on it?
Yeah.
No, it feels okay. It's hot, but it's not that hot.
So weeks after the report's release, the Times reported that a battalion chief ordered firefighters to roll up their hoses and leave the burn area on January 2nd. That's what we're just talking about right now.
Uh-huh.
Even though they had complained that the ground was still smoldering and rocks remained hot to the touch. You just brought it up.
Yeah, you pull your hand off the stove.
Yeah.
You know, hot to the touch. First thing you learn as a kid.
Another battalion chief assigned to the LA Fire Department's risk management section knew about the complaints for months, but the department kept that information out of the after-action report. So there's a cover-up going on. In the statement provided Saturday afternoon after the article was posted online, the Los Angeles Fire Department refused to answer detailed questions from the Times about the altered drafts, including queries about why the material about the reignition was removed and then brought back, citing an ongoing federal court case. Former LA Fire Department Assistant Chief Patrick Butler, who's now chief in the Redondo Beach Fire Department, agreed that the Lockman fire should have been addressed in the report and said the deletions were, quote, a deliberate effort to hide the truth and cover up the facts. He said the removal of the reference to the LA Fire Department's violations of the National Standard Firefighting Orders and watchouts was a serious issue because they were written in the blood of firefighters killed in the line of duty. Without citing the national guidelines, the final report said that the Palisades fire's extraordinary nature, quote, occasionally caused officers and firefighters to think and operate beyond standard safety protocols. Okay, so that's a cover-up in every which way you could think about it. The final after-action report does not mention that a person called authorities to report seeing smoke in the area on January 3rd, the day after they pulled the firemen out. The LA Fire Department has since provided conflicting information about how it responded to this call.
So an individual calls and said, hey, the fire's not out.
The fire's not out.
And we can't find the records for that call. Or
yes.
Do we call the guy back?
And
didn't they have like communication problems with walkie-talkies or something? Trying to find out about this Lockman fire, that it was still going?
You would think. The most significant changes in the various iterations of the after-action report involved the LA Fire Department's deployment decisions before the fire, as the wind warnings became increasingly dire. What did they do? Well, in a series of reports earlier this year, the Times found that the top fire department officials decided not to staff dozens of available engines that could have been pre-deployed to the Palisades and other areas flagged as high risk, as it has done in the past.
Standard procedure.
So why do you think we haven't had a crazy fire like this? Because in the past, they would put the fire trucks out there, and then when the fire would erupt, they would go put it out immediately. One draft contained a passage in the failures section of what the LA Fire Department could have done. If the department had adequately augmented all available resources, as done in years past in preparation for the weather event, the department would have been required to recall members for all available positions unfilled by voluntary overtime, which would have allowed for all remaining resources to be staffed and available for augmentation, pre-deployment, and pre-positioning. They didn't do that. That's what they've done in previous years, which is why the city never burned down before. Because we have a fire season every year. The draft said the decision was an attempt to be fiscally responsible that went against the department's policy and procedures. The language that was absent in the final report, which said that the fire department balanced fiscal responsibility with proper preparation for predicted weather and fire behavior by following the fire department's pre-deployment matrix. That was absent. A paperwork error resulted in the use of only a third of the state-funded resources that were available for pre-positioning in high-risk areas. A paperwork error. Isn't that like the dog ate my homework?
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. And then the city burned down.
That's how Pearl Harbor happened.
Yeah.
They put the paperwork on the bottom of the
At
pile.
that's right.
The warning.
And when the fire broke out on the morning of January 7th, the initial dispatch called for only 7 engine companies when the weather conditions required 27 fire engines. There was confusion among firefighters over which radio channel to use. It's like, did the Uvalde cops just come up and take over the fire department? There was the report said that 3 LA County engines showed up within the first hour requesting an assignment, and they didn't get a reply. So they're there waiting to be told what to do, and they are told to do nothing. 4 other fire department engines waited 20 minutes without an assignment. So not only do they not have the 27 engines that are required in the handbook, but of the 7 that showed up, they weren't given directions on what to do from the fire department. One Bass confidant told one of the sources that the mayor didn't tell the truth when she said that she had nothing to do with changing the report. The source said the confidant advised Bass that altering the report was a bad idea because it would hurt her politically. According to the source, the 2 confidants said Bass held on to the original draft until after the changes were made. The source added that both confidants said they are prepared to testify under oath to verify their accounts if the matter ends up in a legal proceeding. So, okay, so there you go. So now you know the rest of the story. So anybody telling you that you're an idiot for questioning how they handled the LA fires, or somebody telling you there's nothing they could do and we can't criticize our political leaders, are morons doing propaganda for the establishment. So did you ever buy into that? Don't question the authority?
No, never. I mean, I wasn't even raised like that.
No.
Even in the Catholic Church.
That's right.
Even by my dad. I mean, I lived through the Nixon resignation, and a lot of people say, "Oh, these guys on the Post, the Watergate thing. This is they're blowing this up into nothing."
Always question authority, never not. And anybody telling you to not question authority is an idiot or working for somebody,
or they're just too lazy. They don't care. Hey, I got my beer, I got my lullaby, I got my TV show. I'm good.
The same people who told me not to look into COVID told me there's nothing they could do when the fire came. Isn't that something? There's nothing they could do.
Oh, I had huge arguments with people about that.
About the fires?
Yeah, listen, this was unprecedented. It was nothing. They had all the fire engines. They were there, and then you said like 27.
They were supposed to have 27. They had 7.
Yeah,
and then they covered it up. So you don't cover up something unless you have something to hide, and they're hiding a lot of stuff, and that's Karen Bass. And F you to everybody who shamed me for being logical and skeptical, which is what you're supposed to be.
And how long was that reservoir? Empty?
Remember that?
Yeah.
So there's a reservoir directly above the Palisades,
10
and
years?
it holds 113 million gallons. They had drained it a year earlier.
Janice Quinones drained it.
That's right. The water department chief, who makes $750,000 a year to run the water department in Los Angeles, she drained that reservoir, never refilled it. It was empty when the fires hit.
Wasn't supposed to be repaired?
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I bet you it's still empty.
I heard it that it was still empty.
I bet you it's still empty.
And we both know people that lost everything.
And they lost everything. I know people who lost everything.
And not only the Palisades, but Altadena.
That's right.
I mean, you're talking about families with fixed incomes, 7 generations there.
That's right.
Like
They lost everything, and they don't have the money to rebuild. And but at least people in the Palisades are a little more wealthy.
Yeah.
But the people in Altadena, no, they don't. You're right. They're just that's a blue collar neighborhood, regular neighborhood.
You're talking about guys after World War II and the GI Bill were able to get a home.
Yeah.
And then keep that home and pass it on to their children. And a huge artist community up there.
Yes, correct.
With people not rich, but guys who have artwork, a lot of musicians. I mean, think about everything going in your home. Everything.
Everything. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here because if you don't know Alan, he's a big shot actor.
I'm on fire, by the way.
He used to have his own television show on Comedy Central in the 90s, and now he's a big-time actor, and he's on this show called The Paper, and it's hilarious. I've watched it. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. But what I really want to tell you about is you're doing this. So Alan's been a hilarious stand-up comedian, has many specials, won awards for his specials.
I was nominated, didn't win anything.
You nominated.
Yeah,
okay, his specials were nominated. You could have just let me say that.
I know, but I want full disclosure here, Jimmy. I don't want to wind up like Karen Bass.
But I want to tell. So Alan Havey, big shot comedian, been on television since I've started comedy. Is in the new series. Was on Mad Men. Was on Billions. Now he's in the new series called The Paper on Peacock, NBC. But you also are starting. You have this series on YouTube where you give advice to young people on how to become comedians, and you're not charging anything.
No.
You're doing this. Why?
Well, I have all this information and this experience. I've been doing it 43 years, and every now and then over the years, let's say the last 30 years since I was 40, I'm 71 now. Younger comedians come up and they ask me about advice, or this didn't work, or why this happened, or gee, I'm really working hard. How come I'm not going anywhere? And I'd give out the best advice I could. So I feel like I'm going to wrap up my stand-up career within a year or something. And I thought about writing a book. Then I thought about going through my old sets, pausing them and saying, okay, here's where I messed up. Here's what happened here. And I thought, no, I said, just put it on YouTube. Just give out advice. There's short videos. I think the longest one is like 6.5 minutes, 2-3 minutes. And just give out little pieces of advice that anyone can go on. I'm like you said, I'm not charging for it. There's not going to be a golden circle next time where, for $500, I'll give you the real secrets.
You could come open for me in Vegas. If you take my class,
right?
You can come open for me.
Yeah, a lot of guys do that.
And you work Vegas all the time.
Yeah, and so I had a guy who runs my website, Aaron Proctor, come over to the house. I tried to do it on my own. Tried to set up a tripod on my iPhone.
You need a guy.
Yeah, you need someone there, and it was crap. So we've got about 20 episodes up now. We've got a few more coming out. They drop every Monday. It's at YouTube / Alan Havey Comedy. And
so the @ symbol, Alan Havey Comedy.
Right.
You have to put that in because there's so many other videos of you on YouTube that those come up. And if you're looking for this, your comedy advice series, it's hard to find. So unless you put in the @ sign,
right,
Alan Havey Comedy.
Right.
Right. So you got to do that, or else there's a million videos of you on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
I try not to watch my old stuff.
Yeah, there's all your Letterman
But I've really been enjoying it, and I've gotten a great response from current comedians, young comedians that find it helpful. And it's not rules. I mean, there are a couple of rules. Don't go over. There's a couple of dick moves I don't want you to do.
Yeah.
But
Like, don't go over your time. If you're if you're given 10 minutes, don't do 14.
Right. Don't say, "Hey, folks, I gotta go."
Yeah.
The guy in the back, and the crowd goes, "Oh," or they say, "Can I have 2 more minutes?" That kind of stuff.
Yeah, don't do that.
But I basically say, if you want to be a comedian, you can be. It's the greatest job in the world. Trust your gut. There's no excuses, because I know people that have like one arm, or I followed this woman, I forget her name. She has cerebral palsy. And she was on in front of me at the Comedy Cellar one Sunday night. She killed.
Of course.
I had to go on. But the audience made that adjustment. There was a comedian who was a bad stutterer.
Oh, yeah. What's his name, honey? The stuttering comedian?
Drew Lynch.
Drew Lynch.
But he
doesn't stutter anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't stutter anymore.
Miracle.
But it was like, yeah, it is a miracle. Where, comedy is timing. So you figure, oh, this guy won't be able to tell a joke. But the audience will adjust to whatever, setback you have, whether it's mental or a lisp or you're in a chair or you're deaf. There are comedians out there who are deaf and they're doing a great job. So I love the job. I'm really lucky. We've talked about this. I can't believe I make a living being a stand-up comedian.
It is an amazing thing to think about. And I told you I had that I've been doing stand-up comedy full time since 1995 when I moved here.
Right.
I've been doing it for 5 years in Chicago, but I still kept my day job. And then when I moved here, that was it. I just became a full-time comedian. Luckily, at that time, you can make it. It wasn't, I could become a headliner and play colleges and pay all my bills.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that all my whole life. So it's really a big accomplishment, I think.
Yeah. We are kind of patting ourselves on the back, but we worked our asses off.
Yes.
And we kept writing material. And it's a crowded market today, but there are more clubs. There's really no excuse. If you want to do this and you really grind it, you can make a living as a stand-up comedian. It's not easy, but tell me what job is easy. What did you do, your day job?
Oh, my day job was I was doing brickwork.
Yeah.
It was. I remember the first time I got hired out of town. I had to go to Milwaukee for the week, so I had to take off on Thursday from my brick job and then go. And it was so like heaven doing that for a living. And this is how I know. At the end of the week ended on Sunday night show, I forgot to get paid to do and I'm like, I would never forget to get paid doing brickwork. I would never. So that's what I knew. I'm like, oh, this is it. I got to do this for a living.
And you're in charge. You're the boss. You're the CEO. You're the guy that fixes the printer. You're the janitor. You're the financial guy. It's all on you. So it's not an easy job, but it beats the hell out of sitting in a cubicle and staring at a Dilbert cartoon.
Yeah. And so, like, what? So you told you have the couple that don't. Do you have any? What would be? Because young comedians always ask me. The thing they ask me is they're like, how do you open? To get on stage and say, how do you open? Now, you see a lot of comedians, they'll ask opening, how you guys doing tonight? Hey, how this? They'll ask, hey, who here is married? Which is always a bad idea. I always say, when doing a comedy show, I always find it best to open with a joke.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised how many comedians don't open with a joke.
Well, that's just nerves. They get up there. I know one comedian is sitting backstage at Hermosa. He's at the birthday shows, which Richard, the manager, brings in a lot of young comics.
Right.
To prove, and they want to get on the regular roster. So I see this guy sitting backstage talking, tweeting, texting, and he gets on stage and goes, so what do you people want to talk about?
Wow.
I just like what? You got 5 minutes. You've been backstage. You're here to take care of them.
Yeah.
They're not here to help you.
That's right. What do they want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? You've got 5 minutes. This is the only thing you're doing all day. You don't have 5 minutes of comedy jokes in your head? No, they don't.
Just lie. It's great to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
And then a joke.
And then a joke.
And like me, so where do you go? When they're starting out coming, where do I go? Anywhere. Anywhere there's a microphone
and people.
And a people. Bookstore, VFW hall, poetry reading. Coffee shop. Stand-up comedy now is everywhere. And even if you go to a hootenanny or something where it's just music people, just say, hey, can I get up between these lame guitar acts and do some comedy? They'll say, yeah.
A lot of people didn't think we were going to get the magic word today, but hootenanny.
Yeah, that
is the
was it.
word.
You got it. Hold on.
We did it. Didn't know that was on the bingo card. So, well, I want to point everybody out. I've known Alan since 1995. We moved here the same month, and we worked together plenty. And he's hilarious. He was already a big shot when I was a nothing.
Well, maybe to you, I was a big shot.
You were headlining the Improvs. You had already had a television show. You had specials on HBO. You were a big shot. What are you talking about?
Letterman.
Yeah, on Letterman. How many times did you do Letterman? 10 times?
10 times.
Oh
10
my
times.
God.
But I mean, well, Jake Johansson did like 44.
Yeah, but I think the last one you did was like 2013 when you were on Letterman.
2011.
Whenever the last Letterman you did, it's on your website. So if you go to, what is your website? AlanHavey.com?
Yeah.
If you go and watch that video, it is almost the perfect late night set. It is hilarious. It's fantastic. You're cool and smooth. Everybody should check that out. It's how comedy should be done on television.
Thank you, buddy. I mean, I really worked as I did on all the spots, but I had a feeling this was going to be my last Letterman.
Right.
Because they're brutal to plan. You know, it takes a lot of work. And Eddie Brill, who was the producer on the show, helping comedians, saw me, tweaked it. He really helped me with that one. But I've always been proud of my Letterman spots and my specials. But it's so nice now just to do stand-up and not worry about getting discovered. Or doing
or anything.
I don't want to do Fallon. I don't want to do Colbert.
You're right.
I just want to do stand up.
And we've been in the business long enough to where doing those shows don't matter. Like when you did David Letterman, it mattered.
Yeah.
It mattered.
You plug a club, they'd slip you an extra couple $100.
Yeah.
So nice.
Nice. Yeah. But even sometimes a couple extra $1,000 if you but anyways,
and you got to be on Letterman.
And you got to
when
be
Letterman was Letterman back on NBC and then CBS. So, you know, it was great to work in the same stage that Beatles did.
Yeah.
And everybody that was on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Wow. That's the same stage. You're right.
I tell you what helped me, though.
What?
Be a comedian or just to be on my own. When I was a kid, when I was 9 years old, father took us out to the airport. And we didn't know why. It was on this field next to the airport. And then Air Force One pulls up. JFK gets out with Jackie. First time I see him in color. You know, we had a black and white TV. So he comes out, and then 3 days later, he was assassinated.
Whoa.
And I realized, you talk about question authority.
Mm-hmm.
Everything everybody told me is bullshit.
Yes.
You know, God protects us all. You have a guardian angel. He was the most powerful Catholic in the world. Even more powerful than the Pope.
Mm-hmm.
And God didn't protect him.
Mm.
And I didn't know it then, but over the years, that's when the apathy set in and the wisecracking set in. It's like, I just didn't buy it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't win them all. I had season tickets at the Dolphin game. So they want to, you know, it's like, and the Beatles aren't going to last, 20 minutes. Everything they told me as a kid turned out to be bullshit.
Because you can win them all because the Miami Dolphins did that.
Yeah.
And the Beatles aren't going to be gone in 20
they're
minutes.
Still here.
They're still here.
They're still here. They're unbelievable.
They're still here.
And people thought I was out of my mind to go to New York and be an actor. That's why I went.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got into stand-up, and it happened to be 1981 when the boom started.
Yeah.
So I was in the right place at the right time.
And it all worked out for you.
Pretty much. And now I'm acting because I went to New York to get on Broadway. That's the only thing I haven't done. I've done sitcoms and pie eating contests and corporate shows
and movies.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff, but I've never been on Broadway. So that'll be my last.
All right. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on the new project. If you want to be a comedian, I highly recommend you listening to a few of those videos from Alan Havey. And it's at Alan Havey Comedy at YouTube. I'll put a link underneath this video so people can go check that out. And great to see you, buddy.
Great to see you. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Over to Steph.
Okay. Thank you so much. Are you going to continue?
No.
Oh, you're wrapped today.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? Can you just say one more thing about this Friday, your book club? All right. You can show Jimmy.
I got another joke too. I just got contacted. They want me to entertain the troops
Oh, no kidding.
in Minneapolis.
Oh, bam!
Boom! Zing!
Nice.
Zang! I put it up on Facebook, but I tried it out the other night. I thought about it like 4 minutes before I went on.
Yeah.
And people clapped, people booed, people laughed, people moaned.
Ah,
Perfect.
that's I love. Those are my favorite kind of jokes.
Me too.
Yeah. So what do you want me to do? Okay, so this Friday, if you become a premium member, we're going to start with our book club, and we're going to be talking about Memories, Dreams, Reflections. It's Carl Jung's biography. It's an amazing book. It's a great introduction into all this stuff. And then I'll tell you about the greatest dream I ever had. I just had it the other day. Unbelievable. All right.
Tell me at dinner.
See you on Friday. I'll tell you at dinner. Over to Steph.
All right. See ya. You can big screen camera 4, please, as they make their way out of the room. I just have a few chats to read. A few. Let's see what that one is. All right. Okay. Hold on. They're making their way out of the room, and we did it. All right. Let's go for this. So, okay, we're back. You can show me now, too. Look at this beautiful graphic design of our upcoming shows. I love it. So nice. Thank you there. Oh, what was I going to call you? Boo? Thanks, Boo. Oh, no. No. Even, no. No, I'm not going to call you that. All right. All right. So, Sunskeet, you said this earlier. You said, Kurt, a while back, saw clips of Red Bar Dude hating on you. Okay. I get it. Seems like some character portrayal, but he has this warped following. He seems like a hate grifting alcoholic. Any clapback? So Sunskeets, our mods wrote saying that like the show, it's just not a good vibe to say, hey, this guy's hating on you. What do you think about it? I didn't fucking hate it. What do you like? I'm not bigger than that. I'm not like, and so Kurt and both Jimmy, they get a lot of great vibes, but they're also people, just haters that come after them. And it's like, it's the natural response is like, I fucking don't like it. What do I think about it? And we're at the point where if somebody sends me something, hey, did Jimmy see this shitty thing that somebody said to him? I'm not going to share it with him. It's just not a good mojo. I know, like, on other people's shows, people probably will read whatever. But on this show, the mods try to, like, be a little conscious of that kind of stuff. And I do, too. And, like, just the lay of the land, Try not to get too much, I don't know, unctuous. I don't know what. I just wanted to say unctuous. You can call Epstein Files crowd anything you want. Just don't call them late to pizza and grape soda. All right. And that was from my friend Rubber Toe I read earlier. Roosevelt, thank you. Addie, you said you were troubled about Massey and DeMolay. My real name, I told you my guess was how many comics are in, some people call themselves comics, but they're just dabblers. Lord Jesus, please, when you edit this to the segment, leave Kirk's I told you so with maniacal laughter. Oh, for sure, Fret Pound. For sure on that one. I talk to Misha like that. I'd even be happy getting slapped by her for talking to her like that. Triple B. He is such a funny, fun person to be around. I'm so lucky. Luna Legger, I will tell Alan this for sure. I'm actually going to take let me Luna Legger said, tell Alan I loved his show night after night so much. I was so sad when it ended. Thank you for having him on, Jimmy. Luna Legger, I will make sure that Alan sees that thoughtful comment. Those are the kind of comments that I'll read. All right. Jimmy, Steph, Misha, Kurt, you have to watch Sound of Freedom. Really? Erica is like beautiful model groomer. Much watch for your education reporting. No worries. It's like Hitchcock shower scene. Nothing shown. Is my dog okay? Wonder what's going on there. Sound of Freedom. I will share that with the team, amiga. Oh, my dog's barking. Really gets weird around. I don't know what the dynamic is, but she's barking at Alan right now. Oh my goodness, Betsy! Sunskeets, thanks for fully verbalizing my last RR Rumble rant. Oh, hold on. Again, you're generous. What is my dog barking for? That's for you, amigo. Karen Bass certainly learned George Carlin's soft language lesson by, Karen, that was a comedy bit. Triple B. It was a little too hot, so they watered the report down. Maybe not enough to put out the heating up controversy. Funny, Luna Lugger. I wish I read that better. 4-door. I smell a limited hangout. The behavior of the fire was unnatural. When the whole Palisades suddenly ignited that evening, there's thermal imaging which shows a spontaneous mass ignition. What? Another worldview. That's interesting. I'll make sure to share that with the team. Thanks for fully verbalizing my last RR. Bam! You sent 2 of those, Sunskeets. Thanks for fully verbalizing my last AR. RR. AR. What am I talking about? All right, let's see here. Let me make sure I did. You know what? If I miss... Oh. Does Jenna hang on to those horns when Kerp's handling biz? Come on. Nobody needs that imagery. Please. Ardeen, Steph, thanks for being such a good person. You be good. Ardeen W, you be good. You know, and maybe not so good, right? That's more fun. All right, let's see here. Oh, interesting. That one. La La Cha Cha. I love that handle. He had with the guy that bashed Sound of Freedom. I can't imagine they never saw it. Sherry McCrae. All right, let's see here. All right, I saw now Alan's grooming dogs. That's some kind of grooming. All right, I think there was something up here. I don't remember. But Whitney was right and right and right. So thank you for that one. Let's see. Zach Wheat. Oh, yeah. I read that one, Zach Wheat. All right. MVM. Oh, yeah, I read that one. Rubber Toe. Roosevelt, my real name. Barnea. Oh, how much of this $2 does Bongino get? Barnea. I don't think any. The bank statement doesn't say BAL, but BAA. It's relative to securities means the same as BBB rating. Ian Carroll dropped a 10-minute overview on IG February 3rd on this. Alatrian. Thank you, Alatrian. All right, Nisi Social, Sabatian, Massey. Yes. Okay. Look up. It's a republic if you can keep it. Andrew St. Clair. I know I read that one. I just want to make sure. All right. I'm going to tell Alan that you love the show. All right. Johansson. Okay. Read that one. Triple B. Sunskeet. Tiller. Could it be they just want everything to burn while they get off on watching everything burn, just like Heath Ledger, Rest in Peace Joker, or The Purge Part 1, through how many those sick fucks made? Tiller. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. You know... Oh, Ludnick listing his kids' ages was creepy as F. You are clear on that one. So if you Rumble chat, you are giving Rumble 40% of it, LOL, Laguna. Yeah, I think they all take I think each of the platforms take a taste of those chats. I think that's how they do it, okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back on Friday, our 1 p.m. We aim for 1, all right? That's what we aim for. You know, we're doing that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we had a great show today. Thanks so much for tuning in. And you know what? What do I like to say? Resist much, obey little. Something nice for somebody. Come on, bitches. See you Friday.